Yo, what's good, man? See how this market opens, cause man, I missed this movement. Cause I took an L. All right, guys, let's wait for the market to open. I literally missed this move. I was waiting for it because I took an L this morning on this 4-hour right here. So this is a trade. I literally entered it and went back to sleep. So it went like 15 pips in profit and then reversed all the way back down. So took an L on that one. Then when I came back to the 1 hour, I saw this test and rejection above the double SAR. Anyway, let's see if it comes down during New York. I'll re-enter, but well, for you guys who are in buys, I know like Levy's in a buy, so if I miss it, then that's fine. There's another entry on EU here, but this is on the 4-hour. So this would have to wait for 3 hours because this is break and continuation. So this is a sell entry, but if it closes all the way here, even with the 25 pip stop, this might be a bit far down.
I don't know if you want to, Rising, but on the 15, there's a SAR, live SAR that's about to close.
For
And
gold?
it's golden cross too.
Okay. What is it, double?
No, it's just a single live one.
Oh, this one? Yeah, but for me to enter this, I would need 2 15-minute candle. I mean, it's fine. I'm actually in buys because I'm coding some new EA to just be trading the daily buyers. So technically I'm in buys with some other accounts. So I'm just missing the big account. So that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the market just opened. Let's see. All right, let me start recording this. All right, good morning, guys. Today is Tuesday, August 29th. As usual, doing analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. So currently, this is the so personally, I took a loss right here because I took this trade on the 4-hour time frame right here because this was a break and continuation of a double SAR. So here, if you look on the 4-hour time frame, we have this double SAR around 1922. So this 4-hour candle closed above it. This next candle, which is a continuation candle, also rejected and closed above it. So I entered a buy. Unfortunately, I got stopped out there for that particular trade. But if you go down on the hourly, you'll see there was another entry that just happened, but I just missed that entry. So this is a test and rejection, right? So all my entries are always based off of 2 candles. So if I say test and rejection, know that test is 1 candle, rejection is another. If I say break and continuation, break is 1 candle, continuation is another candle. So this right here is the test candle. It's testing the double SAR buy zone, and then the rejection candle also tested it and failed to close below it. So for example, if this hourly candle had closed below here, the test and rejection strategy or entry would have been invalid. And you can see gold is pumping up. Yeah, but unfortunately I missed this trade by like 2 minutes. So we'll see. Again, if the trade gets to 1:1 risk to reward, set break even. So 1:1 would be around 1920, 137. So around here. So if the trade gets around here. So same thing, if the trade does come back down, I'll look to re-enter it, but I'll go on the 5-minute time frame because ideally the entry is valid. So if I want to re-enter it, I would want ideally what happened here. So this is what I'm looking for. So here on the 5-minute, I would want 2 5-minute candles to close above, but I would need a retracement. But if that doesn't happen, then that's fine as well. So let's see what else. US 30. Nothing really on US 30. So looking at the daily bias, US 30 is still daily bias is still bearish. Gold daily bias is bullish. EU daily bias is bearish. The DXY, the daily bias is bullish. So as much as the DXY is bullish, it does not necessarily mean that gold is going to go down the same way EU is going, because we've seen before the DXY being bullish and gold being bullish as well. So not every time does something go opposite the US dollar as much as they're correlated. So the only other entry I'm seeing, so EU, we have a 4-hour entry. So this would be a possible, this would be break and continuation, but possible one. Possible break. Continuation. Give me a second.
Gold's coming down a little bit.
All right, sorry, I had to pick up a call. So this is possible break and continuation of a double SAR sell zone. So that's a potential EU trade, but this trade would validate, if anything, either validate or invalidate at 1 p.m.
Man, Bison, I think you just missed it. It did come down a bit just now. Gold. It's going
Oh
back up now.
man, they don't want me to catch it. I mean, it's all good. I have like 3 accounts trading multiple buys on an EA. Wait, now I gotta answer this again.
Yeah, the wick on the 15 came all the way back to like my entry almost.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, so but even for it to come back down, because as much as it might, right, even if I want to wait for it to enter or wait for it to come back down for me to enter, right, I would need this same thing to happen, which, right, might not happen like fast enough. So I would probably need to go to the 1 minute. So yeah, I mean, either way, I'm not going to chase it unless it literally drops all the way back down here. And then I would uh, get in on the 1 minute. But honestly, I don't mind because again, I'm in buys. So I'm coding an EA. It's just a simple
You say
EA.
your 15?
I'm
You see
sorry.
what I was talking about on the 15-minute?
Yeah, on the 15-minute. Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, I see
See
what
the
you
wick,
mean.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, let's see. That's on 16 minutes. No, I'm sorry, 6 more minutes. Um,
Where that wick stop is where right about where I entered, like right below this where I entered. So
yeah, yeah. I'll stay out of it for now unless it heavily drops. So I'm going to stay out of it. US 30, I have a sell bias. I don't have anywhere to sell US 30 from anywhere. Um, yeah, so unless gold comes back down here, that's the only way. Because I'm not gonna, because for me to enter even here, my stop loss then would have to come up. So I want to enter ideally the same trade. So I don't want to enter above. I don't want to enter ideally between where it is right now and the entry zone. So for me to enter, it has to retrace all the way back down. EU as well. Let me see if there's anything on the hourly. I don't think there's nothing on the hourly. Yeah. So if this trade hits, that should be it for the day. If I don't get tapped in, that's fine. Um, if I don't get tapped in, I will wait again for gold to get up here. So the only zones I'm looking to buy gold, same zone right here. If gold comes back down or if gold closes above this triple SARs right here, with 2 hourly candles. But other than that, this is the only trade I will be on the lookout for today. So mad I missed this. This was such a nice trade though. And it's almost similar to like, so this is there was another trade, the trade I sent yesterday, that was a nice trade. So it's ideally almost this similar setup. So if you remember the trade I sent yesterday in the Discord, right? Same, almost the same thing you have, but this one was break and continuation. This one is test and rejection, but the wick, right? The wick is ideally the same right here because you see yesterday we had this whole wick right here. So when you see huge wicks, especially in the direction of the bias you're trading, right? It's almost a no-brainer because like right here, it just tells you wicks normally tell you a story. So for me seeing this wick from the downside, it tells me that there's a lot of buying pressure right here, that if gold were to come back here, more likely, and especially if I'm trading in the direction of bias, I feel like for this trade, I feel very comfortable with the stop loss being below here because I know we have a bunch of buyers seated right here. So always try and train your eyes on the wicks as well. Yeah, that thing is shooting up. Also, if this EA buys, yeah, so the EA I'm coding is just a simple EA. If this trades close, I'm done with this accounts for today. See if this trade will hit TP today. So same thing with EU right here. If this 4-hour candle closes above this sell SAR, that trade is invalid because you won't have gotten the continuation candle. Also, this GBP NZD trade is taking its sweet time. This is the other trade that I'd sent like 2 days ago. This is still there's one thing I've noticed. So for US 30, if we go here for the yearly outlook, we did get this buy signal yesterday. So, and US 30 from the entry point as expected dropped like 1,000. So ideally the habit is 1,000 to 1,500 pips. And given that it's fired this buy signal, if US 30 fires a daily buy SAR right here, I will go down to the 4-hour. So same thing, you remember when the same thing we'd done with gold, or we saw with gold, if when this daily fired and if we were expecting a reversal on gold and we went down to the 4-hour, we could have gotten that early entry. But I'm going to ignore this current buy SAR on the 4-hour for now. But if we get a daily buy SAR, same thing we got here for gold. On the day it's being formed, even before it closes, I will go down to the 4-hour and I'll start looking for buy entry. So I'll look for something like this. So if we've already formed another one, well and good. If this will still be the current one, then it will be confirmation for early buys. And US 30 should keep pumping till the end of the year. It might not be a continuous pump, but it should be a slow and steady pump, and then it will go back up and create the yearly high. So that's just something I noticed when I saw this buy fire right here on the daily time frame. 41 seconds for this one. 1917. See. Let's see where. All right. I'll enter this with a 0.5%. I need my stop loss to be below that wick. Okay. Yeah. So I'm in that buy on gold. So definitely a late entry for me, but I'm still, at least I'm in the game now. Stop loss is way below there, so that's good. Give me, I need to pick up another call. All right, I'm back. Just too many calls this morning. All right, let's see if we can get this pump up to TP. Livy, I'm guessing you're still in your trade. So if you're in this trade,
I
yeah,
was gonna scale in, but I'm trying to not be because
yeah, no, just
if I hold it like I want to, it's 2% gain, and I only risked 0.5, so I'd rather just hold this.
uh yeah, I mean only scale in if it makes sense, right? That's all I'll say. But don't
Based
scale in just because
and based off my analysis too, I was gonna take a buy on US 30 as well because they do move together around this time a lot, but I said no.
yeah. No,
I
see
had
that,
no other confluence but just
yeah.
impulse. I haven't been impulsive in like 2 weeks. I'm trying to
Yeah,
not be impulsive.
yeah, it definitely pays. It's so much better because, right, you don't want to impulse, and then if you lose the trade, you're like, you've only had stepped out or you've only had stayed out. All right, so this trade, anybody who entered, man, I feel so bad. I didn't get it here, but anybody who entered down there should be at break even because it's already achieved a 1:1 risk to reward. But I'm also in the same trade, but my entry is a bit late. So for this trade, personally, I might just take profit at 1:1 and get back my earlier loss for today, but I'll see how it goes depending on how it pumps up. There she goes. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, this EU trade may invalidate based off of how things are moving. Okay, I am about to close one of these accounts that's running the EA I coded. Actually, my TP for my buys is somewhere right here. Come on, close. Gold has been so good to us lately. I'm pissed at US 30, man. US 30, the way I love it. But if you can master gold, oh, I mean, gold is amazing because of the volatility. But you just need to be on the right side of it.
I used to hate gold, but I traded so much now. I'm starting to get used to how it's moving, and
Yep. My man Desire, how's it going, man? See, it's going. My entry as well is going as well here. Desire, did you catch any gold? Any of this gold buys?
No, no, no.
This guy.
I was waiting for that all day, and when it came, I was like I was sleeping, so I missed.
This guy is always sleeping. Even for me, right? I missed this gold. I missed this buy right here, right, that one at the bottom. But Livy showed me this entry on the 15-minute. So for me, I mean, it's not what I would have wanted, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because I would be already at break even for this trade.
yeah, yeah. But it's okay. There are always other opportunities.
Yep. Yeah, always. I'm waiting for this US 30 to turn bullish on the daily, man, because once it does that, I would just it would be so nice buying US 30 till the year ends. There. Let's see. I know we're almost at 10. Don't know. We have consumer confidence at 10. So hopefully that pushes price heavily up into profit, into TP. So let's see. Yeah, this one right here, this is literally but the opposite entry of what we had yesterday. Wick and then push up, and then so see like where we are right now. We are in
I had seen that too. That's what gave me a little bit more confidence
right.
because they tend to do the same thing, just different directions.
Yep, this triple SAR right here. Same thing that was here. Triple SAR. So even for me yesterday, when price got to this zone, the ones you want to be, as much as SAR is top and reverse, the ones you want to be cautious of for reversal are the single lines. But this triple ones, double ones, right, they're like picking up liquidity in that zone. Oh man, I could be up like 1500 for now, man. Ah, I've been coding since like yesterday or something. As much as it's a simple EA, it's crazy. Let's see. For me, what other zones do we have up here? So this is what I would be cautious about for me, 1926. Okay, I mean that's fine. So I'll probably just hold this till whenever.
Yeah. I was seeing there's liquidity up there at the last high on, I think, on 1 hour time frame. That's what I was targeting. It was like 1 to 3 trade.
Yep. And I know I looked this morning, we also do have a hourly or OB right here. I think this is, you know, that pattern. What is it? What is it called? Accumulation, a accumulation, manipulation, distribution. I think that's what, how am I drawing this rectangle? No, I want to draw a box. Let's see. I think it's the same thing. Nope. Oh, I know. Accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. I saw people trying to say gold is selling for the next 3 weeks. I'm like, man. Yeah, I think this is that pattern. Accumulation, the fake out to the downside, and then distribution to the upside. So I think that's it. To me, it looks like that pattern. Yeah, and yeah. So hopefully that news pushes the trades to TP. This one should almost be a TP. At the very least, this trade should hit TP right there. Yeah, this EU trade that should validate at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I think this trade will be invalid unless news shifts and pushes this instruments down. I don't think this 4-hour entry will be valid in 3 hours time. Oh yeah, let me put, because that one hit stop loss there at 5 a.m. It's the current one. All right, how many? If you guys have any questions or anything else to go over, let me know. I know we have news in about four minutes. We'll just wait for news. Okay. Mm. All right, 3 minutes till news. Check on something else here. All right, 2 minutes for news. Let's see. Yeah, so even for US 30, even for buys, still tricky. So on the 4 hour and 1 hour as well. All right, come on, news. Are you still in the trade, Livy?
Can I ask you a question, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of advice.
Mm-hmm.
So on your journey as a trader, how did you manage like to what are your strategies or your plan when you are passing challenges? Like
Um,
are you like taking your time or
oh, whoa, guys, wait. Oh my God, look at that. Wait. Oh, I've never had that happen on a live call. You know, God, wait, let me make sure first it hit TP. All my charts are frozen. I need to, oh my God, I
And
need to
it
go
shot
to,
right into TP instant.
yo,
I
what
wish
a,
I'd have, man.
guys, yo,
I was gonna try to trail the stop because I was gonna move my easy TP,
whoa,
but hey, I'll take
look
it.
at that, full TP. Oh my God. Oh, guys, I don't even know. God, I'm done for the day. I am, oh my goodness. I am, what? You know,
Man, when it happens like that, it makes you love trading, man. Oh my gosh.
I normally see such things
3%.
in memes and stuff. It's like, yo, oh my God. Oh, my heart is pumping, man. Wait, I'll answer your question, Desire. Let me make sure I don't die out here. What? Yo, you see, right? That daily bias is
Got a little flip
crazy.
it too.
And it's right accumulation, manipulation, distribution. That daily bias is crazy because as much as I got faked out of this or stopped out of this 4 hour entry right here, I mean, when I saw that, as much as I missed the hourly on the exact thing, I was like, man, oh my God, this is crazy, man. I don't even know. And this rate had ideally no drawdown. Look at that. Like if we zoom in right here, so that's another 1% because I took this trade, said I was taking this with a 0.5% risk. I didn't even get a chance to set break even. Oh, I am, what a month, man. Lord, oof, 6.5%. Um, Wait, let me calm down a little bit. Desire. So journey as a trader. Journey for passing challenges. So you mean like in the past or even nowadays?
both?
Yeah. So in the past, and Audrey can tell you, so when we first, because Audrey is the one who brought me into trading. So we, definitely, right, starting off trading even before joining other groups. So we used to trade, I used to join Audrey with some of his other friends, and we used to wake up at like 5 a.m. and right, we just take signals. So somebody, right, there's another friend of ours who's very good at trading as well. So we just tell us buy now, sell now, buy another one. And we used to trade gold and like US 30, and we used to use our real money, right? So we never knew about challenges. So actually for the challenges part, it's actually the same friend who told us about challenges, that there's this companies that of course can fund you if you pass a challenge. So he was like, we're going to start taking challenges. So I think the next pivot, I found this, and for me, I'm very transparent. So there's this guy, and oh, you know what? I'm not gonna, because depending on what I'm gonna say. I mean, the thing is, so I joined this other group. I found this trading group on YouTube. Um, and that's when we use, actually my first challenge, I've passed my first challenge, but the only issue with this group, well, I don't want to show it because it doesn't, I'm not really dirty or saying anything negative about them. The only thing I didn't like, and keep in mind, I just said that the first challenge I ever took, I passed both phase 1 and phase 2 with them. The only thing looking back I didn't like with their trading strategy, and they still use it, is they have a negative risk to reward. So they risk like 3% to make 1%, right? So that means if you lose, if you give me 1 second. That means if you lose one trade, you need 3 more trades to be winners. Right? Because if you lose 3%, for you to get back the 3%, you need to make the 1%. So you need 3 consecutive winning trades. Now, that worked, right? The market used to be good before then, even before the war. So both phase 1 and phase 2, right, passed with them. And me and Audrey, we used to do like what, 100 lots or 50 lots, right? So you can imagine, and this guy, right, and even till today, he still goes for like, so he does like a 100, what is it, 10 pip TP. So I'll show you guys right here. So if he's taking like a buy, he does like and he trades on the 1 minute time frame. So let me show you. So if I go right here on the 1 minute time frame, he goes, so if he's taking, let me turn off this for now. So if he's taking a buy here, just to show you the negative risk to reward, he would go, yes, right, it's pretty tight, but 300 pips, 30 pips stop loss and 10 pips TP. And with him, he goes 100 lots, right? Because he just aims to make like 1,000 a day. Because if you go for with 100 lots and you go for 10 pips and it hits TP, you make 1,000. But if you lose, you of course, right, lose 3,000. So that's where we started. Now, the only issue with this, right, the negative risk to reward, trained me, and I don't know about Audrey, but trained me to over leverage. So what ended up happening, yes, I passed my first ever challenge, FTMO challenge with him. But after that, like literally, I didn't even get a payout for that challenge. Now, partly was because of, my own fault, taking some losing trades. But also partly was, I remember this one time, because sometimes he would say, okay, I'm looking to take this trade, but when the trade validates, he's like, oh guys, I didn't take it, right? It was too weird for me. That's why for me, like even when I'm drawing these things for you guys on here, I never draw an entry if I'm not in it or if I'm not taking it. And more times than not, right, I'll tell you guys, if this candle closes, I am taking that trade. That way you don't have to wonder, is Michael in this trade or is he not in the trade? And I normally give you the only times that I probably will wait for a retracement, right? Because remember, for me, the what matters is the trade valid or not. But this guy would be like, okay, I'm looking to take this buy right now. And when the candle that he should enter the buy in fires, he's like, guys, I don't know. This candle is moving a bit weird. And then when the trade hits full TP, he's like, but you can see, guys, the strategy works. So as much as he taught me those strategies, and his strategies are nice, he also taught me fear. So, and I didn't have confidence in my trades. So it led me to blowing a lot of accounts. I was doing 100 lots, 50 lots, whatever. And then from then on, I moved to this other group, another group that I was part of before this. They're actually pretty good. They're the ones who ideally even taught me about the Golden Cross, the Golden Cross and Death Cross. And also they taught me about risk management, right? So you know, I think that group, I think for them, they use like at least a 1:2. Only thing for them is that they take profits before a 1:1. So they secure like 25% of the trade. And also they count break even when a trade is 20 pips in profit. So for example, if their stop loss on US30 is 40 pips, so for them, they set break even, or they advise people to set break even at 20 pips. And you can see that's also kind of a negative risk to reward. So for me, that's why when I'm showing you guys like this strategy for the SAR, I'm like, set break even when you're at 1:1, which is the reason why you see, like for this trade, I took a loss on in the 4-hour trade. As much as it went like 15 pips or 20 pips in profit, it didn't go 30 pips in profit for a 1:1. So that's why for me, if I had, and keep in mind, again, this wasn't an official trade, it was just a trade idea. But if it was an official trade, I would have just been like, this is a loss, right? As much as it went 20 pips. Now, if it was for this other group that and for right now, I'm not going to name them. If it was them, they would count this 20 pips as break even. But you can see, right, as much as it's break even, you ideally want to set break even when you're at 1:1. Also, it depends on, different groups have different strategies. But anyway, so for them, they taught me that you just need like to make 100 a day or 200 a day. So this other guy, right, previously was teaching me or was giving me the idea of, oh, you need to make 1,000 a day or whatever. So that teaches you how to over leverage, and also his risk to reward wasn't good. Now this other group taught me, hey, have a better risk to reward strategy. Don't worry if a trade hits stop loss. Don't worry if a trade hits TP. They talked about, psychology, like what do you do when you take a loss? Talking about, or go for a walk or something, right? They taught me that there's more to trading than actually trading, that you should also work on yourself, go work out and all of that. So when I started, when I was with them, I was actually doing well. Only thing is that sometimes we're trading when I'm asleep. So that's why I wasn't really taking a bunch of their trades. So currently what my mindset right now, even with the no time limit thing, even taking off the no time limit, right now my mindset is same thing like Steven had said the other time, like the goal for you as a trader is not to trade every day, or is not to trade at all during the week. Like a trade should actually convince you to take it, which is why, like for me today, you see, I haven't traded US30 in like 3 days. The reason is I'm only nowadays, right, until I get the SAR down, I'm not using any. I'm pretty sure I could have gotten a trade for US30 using the golden cross or whatever. But for me right now, I just want to learn, right, the SAR. But you can see like the SAR, I'm biased for sales on US30, but you can see as much as I'm biased for sales, if we go to where my entries are on the 4-hour and 1-hour, you can see that as much as I'm biased for sales, and US30 has been pumping up, guess what? I haven't taken any sells, because this is one sell I was looking at yesterday, and this sell would have been like what? Test and rejection. But you can see, yes, we had a test, but this rejection did not close below the sell SAR. So just by having a strategy and sticking to it, as much as I'm biased with sells on US30, I'm not getting burnt by US30 going up, because there's no entry that US30 has given me this whole time up. So with like the SAR, I'm aware that as much as it might not give me trades every day, that when it does give me a trade like this gold trade right here, zero drawdown, this is a trade that in future, and keep in mind, like right now, we are risking, if the trade is, or personally, if the trade is in the direction of the bias, the risk is like 0.5% to 1%. So maybe, who knows, maybe next month I'll be like, okay, in the trades that are in the direction of the daily bias, I will be risking 1%, right? Because if you can look at the growth we've had here, and this is another thing, right? You should journal your trades or journal your returns, and you'll be able to see that improvement, because you can see here, this whole time when we started in March, right? So you can see 3.28, 3.9. I remember in the month of April, we were live trading like NFP news or whatever. But you can see over this months, you can see this improvement. Look at August alone. We've had a 6.5%. Yes, we are risking 0.5, but what has improved in the month of August compared to July, other than me being on vacation for majority of July, is that in the month of July, we started focusing on the SAR strategy. We started having at least we started using a 1:2 risk to reward with stop loss, break even set at a 1:1. And also, right now we are risking 0.5%, which means with a 1:2, if we win, we will make 1%. So who knows, maybe by seeing this, by understanding that yes, the SAR strategy might not give me trades every day, but when it gives me trades, and if it's in the direction of the daily bias, that the probability of that trade hitting TP is high, then I'm fine with that. I'm fine with not trading every day. Then I'm fine with being like, okay, Mr. SAR, I'm going to follow you. I'm going to wait until you give me those entries. And you see, like for me here, I have US 30, gold, and EU. So maybe if I can't trade all three and I really want to trade, maybe I start looking at something else. Maybe I look at Bitcoin. Maybe I backtest Euro GBP, right? Because here, US 30 doesn't have any, based off of, if I'm trading the daily bias, doesn't have any entry for me. EU, yes, it had an entry, but you see the validation was on this 4-hour candle, and it doesn't look like, excuse me, this 4-hour candle will close below this double SAR for the continuation. So which means that EU as well didn't give me any trades today. But gold told me, hey, I know EU and US 30 didn't give you a trade. So I also like to think of the trades or instruments talking to me, right? Because if I see them as just an external thing, right, I might just be treating them that way. But if I listen to them, or if I'm right, sometimes to other people you might sound like you're bonkers or you're going mad. But if you're like, before you enter a trade, you talk to this trade and you tell them, right, you ask them, what are you telling me with this strategy? Are you telling me that this strategy or that the entry is valid? What are you warning me? Is there anything that I should be looking at, right? So that's what has changed over the years. So nowadays, right, I trade less, and then I make sure that I am entering a trade. You see, even this morning, right, when I missed this buy trade in the morning and we started the live session, right, Livy told me, right, there was an entry on the 15-minute time frame. So I came here on the 15-minute time frame. By then, we hadn't had this continuation candle closing, because remember, regardless of the time frame, the strategy, the entry strategy still sticks. You need two candles closing above or two candles closing below, depending on the direction. So I told Levy that, okay, I see what you mean, but for me, if I need to enter it, I need to wait for the entry. I need to wait for those two candle closures. And then when this 15-minute candle was almost closing, I looked at the same thing. So I asked this trade, indirectly, what are you telling me? So same thing here in this trade that I'd missed on the hourly. This wick to the downside was telling me we have a lot of buyers sitting here. So when I looked at the 15-minute as well, that Levy pointed out, I saw this wick down here. We are rejecting, we came down and we bounced back up. So what are you telling me? It's also telling me we have a lot of buyers sitting down here. Okay, is my stop loss below the SAR that I'm trading? Yes. Is my stop loss even below the previous low? Yes. So that made sense to me. Yeah, so in a nutshell, that's how my mentality works nowadays with trading. Understand that I don't have to trade every day. And also, right, I'm doing other things. So I just told you guys, right, I'm developing an EA for you guys and it's going to be free. It's just a simple EA because I want us to be using it as a passive. So, I think I'm going to call it the rent or mortgage EA. So it's ideally, right, an EA that we are going to be like, okay, today we're only taking buys on gold. Today we are only taking sells on gold. And then our goal will be to make what we would what our mortgage would be at the end of the month, what our rent would be at the end of the month, right? So for example, we would be trading with this daily bus. So like right now, that EA I'm talking about, I was in buys this whole, as much as I'd missed this buy personally in the big account that I just caught, I was actually in buys during this whole move to the downside because I'd set that EA to buy only, right? So that, so finding something else to keep you away from trading. So for me with this EA that I'm developing, as much as I'm in front of the charts, and which is another reason why I missed this trade, I'm also occupying my time with something else other than trading. So I would say, right, those are some of the things that you can put together. Find something else to occupy your time. Now, if you have the discipline to stay in front of the charts and not enter a trade, that's fine as well. You can use that time to backtest, but just make sure that you're not just entering a trade just because. And also, right, understand that losing is part of the game. Like for example, this morning I took that L on gold. I didn't feel bad about it because I knew the trade was valid. And you can see, as you say, Desire, right, there's always other entries. So hopefully, let me know if that makes sense or you want me to clarify something else.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense. But what I wanted to know, it's more about uh like the kind of strategies that you um so today I understand that if you take a challenge, I think you're just gonna wait until you have entries using your
Yep.
SR strategy.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like because something that is good also today with all these prop film that don't have that have limited time now, so it's better.
Mhm.
But what did you used to do in the past? Like, did you used to for example, as it takes 1 month to pass a challenge, sometimes like people can have lack of patience and like try to do it fast or take all the whole month, you know.
So for me, knowing myself, so one thing I know is my downfall is actually manual trading is quote unquote my down. If I start losing, because I have this tendency, if I take a loss, I come back and I revenge trade. So I'm actually a conservative trader, but if I take a loss and then I've taken that loss so early in the day, I'd found myself coming back and over trading. So I would come back and say, okay, I'm going to 50 lot this and most of the time I just normally end up buying US 30, even though it's in a sell bias, or I used to do that. So I would come and blow the account, and then I would be so mad at myself. I'm like, if only I had waited, because like the next day or in the next 2 hours, I would get that trade. So mostly it was just being okay with losing. Being okay with losing, I think that was the major shift, because I would lose and then I would feel so bad about losing, as much as maybe I'm losing based off of a good strategy, based off of a valid entry. But then something would tell me to come back to the computer, and then I would say, okay, I'll just enter a 50 lot on US 30 and I'll buy. And I'm only looking to make 10 pips so that I make 500 or something. And guess what? I would never make that 500. I would only make like 300, 200, and then that thing reverses all the way and blows my account. So I think understanding that I've made a loss and being okay with it. And I say, okay, if my maximum loss for today is 3,000 and I hit that 3,000, I don't care what happens. I'm going to close that account. So I even closed it. I used to close it on MT4. So I would say that was the major change. Um, even recovering in drawdown. So I would say the losing part, because either way, whether you trade daily or whether you pass a challenge in 1 day, 1 week, or whatever, unless you're taking one trade and that trade goes ahead and passes your challenge, you're going to have losses along the way. So the question is, what is your strategy when you lose, right? What do you do when you take that loss? So nowadays, I'm like, with this SAR strategy, I'm so comfortable with losing because I know that it's also a 1:2. So also make sure you understand what is your risk to reward. Because at other times, I never used to, and you guys have seen it on the live session here. When we first started trading, I used to have like a 1:1 risk to reward for the most part. But when we first started trading, like my stop loss on gold used to be 100 pips, my TP 100 pips, right? So actually 50 pips, 50 pips. And then when we started doing like the what is it, the crosses, it was 100 and 100. But right now with the SAR, it was 50 and 100. So finding, I would say, the critical thing, as much as you found that strategy, even it can be with the crosses, make sure that your risk to reward right now, I'll say, is at least 1:1. I'm sorry, is at least 1:2, with break even set at a 1:1. Because what this will do, keep in mind, we're trying to fix how do you deal with losses. What this will do, it will tell you, okay, you've taken a loss with a 1:2 strategy. That is fine. You only need the next win, or you only need the next trade to go to a 1:1 for you to recover the loss you took. So for example, like me today, this loss I took on gold, I only lost like $1,000. This win I've taken on gold is $2,000, right? So that gives me confidence in future that, hey, Michael, the next time, if you ever lose two trades, just know that you only need the third trade to hit full TP for you to go back to break even. So that way I know that next time, and I can even put the sticky note on here, right? Because I've even put other sticky notes on my screen. So I think the key is, what is your interpretation of a loss and how do you deal with losses. And then from then on, start finding ways to deal with it. I think the time thing, I think it's more, to be honest, I think it's more psychological. And even some of the, to be honest with you guys, some of the challenges I'm doing now are actually doing better. Not because I'm taking 50 days or whatever. I'm actually doing better even with a span of 2 weeks. But I think that the time thing was more psychological because they made you feel like you had to trade every day, or they made you feel like you had to pass this challenge in 30 days, which
Yeah.
subconsciously pushed you to overtrade. So which is, you remember when I just said that, oh, I would come and FOMO and then I would be like, if only I'd waited for 2 more hours, I would have gotten the trade that could have gotten me back at break even. So you see, it's not that there are no trades to take, it's because they had that side. But you know, the no time thing, I mean, it's good because it takes away that psychological thing. So first say focus on how you deal with losses and then come up with a strategy for that. Let me ask you, yeah. Anything else?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Let me, the other thing I'm trying to learn, I've been telling you guys that I'm still trying to learn. I'm trying to learn about fair value gaps. Is this a fair value gap right here?
Yeah.
Ah,
This is what I trade a lot. Like most of the time, like even 100% of the time, it always comes back to close this value gap.
oh,
Always,
oh,
yeah.
oh. I saw Livy's whatever. Yeah, so that's the other thing, right? Look at consider percentages and not profits, right? That's the other part. Because these groups that I've mentioned, as much as they help me, they were like, right, 1,000 a day, then they start doing the math for you. They're like, if you make 1,000 a day, that is what? I think 1,000 a day is five times 4 is 20. That's like 200K a year. But then, right, you start making the 1,000 a day. Or
So
so
Vazen,
who
before you
consistently?
continue, not to cut you off because I'm about to get mad calls at work, but I want to say this: like you changed um my whole perception of this when I started looking at it in percentages. That helped me out a lot. It because you're not looking at numbers no more as far as money. You're just looking at it as a percent. So that's helped me out a lot with my risk and my everything.
Yep. Yep. Same here, right? Yeah, it's the same thing. When I used to even the 200 a day, man, because when you start pushing yourself, you're like 1,000. But what they're telling you is not 1,000 a day, because even great, unless somebody is really good, and also there's definitely people out there who probably make 1,000 a day, but they've probably been either back testing for 20 hours a day, or probably they're like 7 years in the game. But a lot of people, what they don't tell you, even if somebody is saying how I make 1,000 a day, it's not really 1,000 every day. It's just 1,000 in a given day. Like for me, I can't say I make $1,000 a day, but I can say on a good day I make $1,000, right? So that also helps, which is also the other part is also which I've been doing for me a lot nowadays. I am very selective on who I follow on social media. Because if I'm following people who are only flexing the money and I mean, it's good, right? It's good. But also I don't know their journey. I don't know where they're getting this money from. Keep in mind, a lot of groups out there, or a lot of these gurus in social media about trading, they really don't make their money from trading, or the money they've made from trading, most of it they've gotten through selling courses, which is why, right, as our courses or indicators, which is why, as much as I have indicators here, I don't really push for people to buy them, because I make way more money than I can make from probably, unless we have like 100,000 people. But most of these people, they're good at marketing. So they were able to convince people to buy like a $300 course. So if you do the math, like for example, this first person that I first started following, his indicators, and actually he only has 3, leave alone us, we have 5. He has 3, but he was charging 200 a month. And I was paying that for some reason. So you can imagine, if it's 200 a month and you have like 100 people in your group, that is 20,000 bucks. So, which also can make sense why he's using a negative risk reward, because honestly, if you're making 20,000 a month hands-free, then you can literally just be buying challenges and you don't care about blowing them, because statistically maybe you'll pass 1 or 2, right? So a lot of these people, yes, you're following them, but you don't know the source of this money they're using to trade. So of course, if I'm selling courses and I'm making 100,000 a month or 50 to 100,000 a month, and I put that in a Hugo's Way account, I can literally, like this gold trade we took today, I could have literally done a 20 lot and I would have made like 50K or 30K or 20K or whatever. Then I go there and flex on social media. But if I literally was doing that with a challenge, right? How I probably wouldn't have traded that way. So you also want to make sure who are you following on social media? What are their influences on you? So for me nowadays, very, very selective. And not to say that it's a bad thing because, right, some people can say, oh, maybe it's because you don't make enough. I'm like, okay, that is fine. But the only thing that matters is that I'm accountable to myself and I'm not comparing myself to such and such a person. Or even though I'm following them, maybe I'm watching them during my leisure time and not when I'm about to trade. Because right now, if I just come from watching somebody making 100,000 in a trade and going to buy a Lambo, I would have probably come in here and said, okay, what we are going to do 50 lot on this gold. And luckily, right, it went our way. But I would have come to trade because I want to keep up with this person. But also you need to consider that as much as they're making 100,000 or whatever, if you have something in your personal life that you need help with, trust me, if you reach out to them, they're probably not going to help you. So as much as you're worshiping, quote unquote, their money or quote unquote worshiping their money, if you need help from them, they probably will not help you. So at the end of the day, it comes down to, most of the times it's probably just you and your family or you and your mother or whatever that you can rely on. Everybody else you cannot, because like even for me, if 100 people or 10 people are to come to me and say, oh, I need help with rent, right, I may not be able to support them, probably because also you also don't know what I'm going through in my personal life. So as much as you can see somebody making hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, remember the statistic, and I made a video on this the other day, 90%, 80 to 90% of traders fail. So if you see like a lot of people winning on social media, remember, in social media, a lot of people post what they want you to see. They don't post what they're going through. You don't know how many loans somebody is under. You don't know what they've done to get that money. So the only best comparison is yourself. And so long as you do that, like nowadays, I'm feeling so, every week of trading, I'm feeling so proud of myself and happy just of the progress. Because if I see myself like this week alone, we won yesterday, we've won today. So, and me seeing 6.5 last month, we had 1%, the other month 3.5. Just me seeing this is so much better than, and knowing that I didn't have to put my health at risk, I didn't have to compare myself with somebody else, that I've just been pushing myself. It just makes me look forward to the next month, because who knows, maybe in December here, we'll have like a 20% gain. And then just making sure that as much as I'm improving myself, like I'm also sharing my experiences with the community. I'm also taking in what other people are also offering. But anyway, that was a tangent. Yeah, so my next thing, I've been trying to learn fair value gaps. But so wait, Desire, so for a fair value gap, does it happen in a 3 candle? So for example, do you get what I mean? Does it happen in a 3 candle formation?
Yeah, it could happen anyway, as long as there's space between the. Yeah, it can happen any kind of way.
And
And
what normally would you guys be looking at here, or what is the fair value gap
price,
telling?
whatever price does. So if price comes back down now and it starts tapping into that,
Mhm,
once it goes 50% past it, the
mhm,
middle, like
mhm.
once it goes past that 50% mark, it's probably not going to go back up 9 out of 10 times. So they keep going down and take a whole fair gap out.
Okay, and is this like a are you waiting for X amount of candles to close?
Um, Not with this, because once it takes it out and closes at that point, then
Mhm.
that's it. You know what I mean?
Okay,
If it goes past 50 and closes, then it already covered the gap.
okay. Let's see something here.
And also it depends on the time frame that you are looking at. So here you're
Time frame
looking,
is everything, actually. Yep, time is everything. I'm learning now, man. That's a big key to this
yeah,
trading
Mm,
thing.
like for example, in higher time frame,
mhm.
the gap, it's better to look for gaps in a higher time frame. But
Ah,
yeah, but if you are looking like for entries,
mhm.
you can go like in small time frames and watch where there's you can call it also imbalance, that where there is imbalance left in low time frame. And
Uh,
sometimes the way I used to use it is like I try to find like where there are like institutional candles, like for example, before this high move,
mhm.
sometimes there is a red candle which goes down. And so if there is like that can be considered as an institutional candle. And sometimes it means that before they push the price up, they need before that to push the price down.
Uh,
And so what they do is like they have orders which they put orders to push the price down,
mhm.
and after the price goes up, which means that they have orders left in drawdown and they need to come back, and that's what we call mitigation. Yeah, so it sometimes it can take like hours, days, even weeks, but they will come back and close these orders which are in drawdown.
Ah,
And this
okay.
is the best. These are the best entries. Like when they come back to mitigate the price, they close all the imbalance and they close the orders which were left in drawdown.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah. So that's my next challenge to myself. I'm trying to learn more about FVGs and see how they can be used. But that's pretty interesting. Yeah. I had a hard time learning. But when I saw a couple of videos, I was like, is ideally obvious when you're looking at it. I think I was just looking too deep into it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's something I learned that is very like changed everything for me. It's like when these institutional trade for them, like when they have like they put a stop loss, they don't lose money. It's just like, for example, if they put a stop loss on
Mm-hmm.
gold,
Mm-hmm.
they actually, like if they are buying and their stop loss is hit, they actually buy that gold. They don't lose
Ah.
money. Yeah, so it means that they never lose.
Yeah, yeah, it's people are smart, man. Hopefully one day we can get there, but we'll see. No,
Yeah.
thanks for that, guys. So let's see. Any last questions? I think that's it. Um, that is it. What I think I was thinking something else. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. But that's a nice. Oh yeah, this US30. You see what it just did? It printed a buy SAR on the daily. So for this daily bias to switch from bearish to bullish, we need what happened here with gold. So we need a daily candle to close above here. But now, right, remember in the beginning of the call, I said, now is a chance you can start going to the 4-hour to look for an entry. Now on the 4-hour, you can see like here, if I had, and hopefully I can be done with this EA soon in maybe another week or so. It's working, but there's one thing. Again, it's a simple EA just to we can use to be trading the daily bar, so it's nothing major. So right now, if I was using it is key, I would just honestly start setting buys for now, buys only. But one thing I want you guys to check here and to be on the lookout
That
and
strategy is looking like it works, by the way, Vaz, and that switching to the 4 hour when you feel a daily buy is gonna
yep.
change, that 4 hour would have been a nice buy.
Yep. And one thing, if this comes here, and keep in mind, we now know that this is probably the time to start going, because keep in mind, if this is to happen, so we already had that 1,000 to 1,500 pip drop. And what now should happen, US30 should start pumping up for the rest of the year and give us a yearly high. So US30 might end the year at 37,000. So that's my anticipate. Either way, my anticipation is US30 is going to start pumping up now and go to the all-time high. I'm sorry, ideally, actually all-time high. All-time high and also the yearly high. Now, knowing that, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind here, you see what happened with gold here? When gold closed above this daily, when gold closed above this daily, when it reject, we anticipate a retest of that SAR. So not every time, but we do anticipate sometimes that retest. And if you guys remember on gold on the hourly time frame, we had formed a head and shoulder, right? Which actually this was the completion of the head and shoulder pattern on the hourly, came up, literally rejected off of the buy SAR. So let's keep an eye out on that on US 30 as well. If US, and you guys can remind me if I forget, and I'm guessing if US 30 closes with a huge daily candle, let's anticipate a possible rejection, right? Again, we are using the double SARs for entry. So we'll probably have some double SARs here. But all I mean is that if we do get a sell entry after that daily candle, like with a pattern or something, it might be a valid sell entry. And then if US 30 gets to this, so you can mark this area on your charts, 34,815, that is the critical buy zone on US 30. So if US 30 breaks heavily up here with a daily candle, whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow's daily candle, and it's a huge daily candle to the upside, mark 34,815 as a big buy zone, where if price rejects like with a head and shoulder, it might be an area for you to enter like a nice size lot buy for US 30, and then you can even ride this till the end of the year if you want. But that's just something I noticed for gold. But keep in mind, not every time will it be retested. So for example, here it was retested. Let's see for gold. For gold, it was retested this time. This time it was retested, but you see this candle wasn't a huge candle that broke above. So we are looking for those huge candles. So this was a huge candle that broke above this buy, but you see it wasn't exactly retested. But it's just something to keep an eye out. If your bias is bullish, and then the candle that closed or that gave you the bullish bias was a huge candle, if you get a high probable entry to ride back down, or if you just want to wait, because if you try to ride it back down, you're ideally trading against the trend. So you can just mark that zone up and put an alert such that if price ever comes down there, you know that this is probably the best area to start selling. I'm sorry, to start buying or selling. Anyway, any last questions? But congrats for everybody who caught the trades today. Let me know if you guys have any final questions. If not, we'll catch up tomorrow. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
I will. All right, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. See you guys.